If I can have your attention here in the Media Center, we're going to continue on with our media availabilities. We're joined by driver Shane Van Gisbergen, driver of the number 97 Red Bull Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing, who's adjusting his furniture accommodations here for today. You know, you and I were around this facility last week when it was being constructed. Now you've had a chance to actually get on a completed track, at least by foot. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, afternoon everyone. Looks wild. Watching practice is wild. It's amazing what they've done in a week. Coming out here last Tuesday, I think it was, and half the track wasn't really even built. So it's been pretty amazing to see how it turned up. Looks cool. Track walk was interesting. And then watching the trucks driving now, it's very different to how it looked. And yeah, it seems to be evolving, getting faster and faster. Obviously bumpy, which everyone seems to be commenting on. And then the risk versus reward looks off the charts, seeing even the guy doing pole lap there crashed across the line. So, and then Justin having an issue, it looks very difficult.
Okay, we'll open the floor for questions. If you have a question, we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here with Holly Kane in the middle. We can get a microphone to Holly.
Hi, Shane. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I wanted to ask you, when you come to a place and you see that it's going to be challenging, does that give you confidence, actually, because you're so good on road courses and have that experience? Do you feel like that's actually an edge for you, for people to be like, oh, my gosh?
I mean, watching people crash isn't fun. Yeah, like there's a lot of good drivers. I mean, it's just seeing, like I know those guys are good, and seeing what trouble they're having makes me know it's going to be very difficult. And then seeing all the different surfaces, like that concrete where they're all crashing now, looks very grippy, but obviously it's not. So yeah, it looks tough. But yeah, I guess this is my background. Like I've done a lot of tracks like this and kind of know what to expect, and I know how I'm going to approach practice. But yeah, I know my competition is very good as well.
Go next to Greg and then to Matt.
Over here, mate. Greg Engel, Forbes. How much, I mean, everybody, including like all the fans, everybody is like picking you. Well, we might as well just hand it to them. Does that give you more pressure coming in here, or does it give you more confidence?
It pisses me off a bit. Like I feel like it disrespects my competition. I hold my competition, and I think they're really high level. So yeah, I feel like I've spent the last little while, talking myself down, and because yeah, I know that there's 10 guys probably that can win on pure pace, and in NASCAR so much stuff can happen with strategies and stages that there's even more guys who can win. So I don't think it's going to be easy, that's for sure.
We'll go to Matt, then to Jerry, then to Bob.
Matt Weaver, motorsport.com. We had Kevin Magnuson in here earlier this morning, and certainly with his resume and background, for him to say that this is the most extreme track he will have ever driven in his career says a lot. Based on what you saw before driving it in your track walk, is that your expectation too?
No, I've driven at some pretty average tracks. So yeah, this is like turn 2 is exactly like turn 9 at Homebush with the bumps and the surface changes. So yeah, I've driven on some stinkers. So this track's pretty smooth in some spots compared to some.
Well, that was actually my follow-up, as I imagine you've driven some pretty extreme racetracks too.
Yeah, Homebush, Hamilton, and then maybe Sebring. Yeah, Sebring's top 5 worst track I've ever done, and it reminds me of that. So yeah, this is not bad.
Have you ever been launched in a race car the way it looks like you kind of come off there on turn 1 too?
Yeah, Hamilton chicane. Yeah, that was really bad. So yeah, there's bits that remind me of all different types of tracks I've done. Yeah, the railroads is probably quite new, especially how you cross them sideways. Looks like they did some work overnight, so it might be better today. But track walk yesterday, that looked like it was going to be tough to navigate.
Go next to Jerry, then to Bob, then to Noah.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. I was going to ask you, where are the trouble spots, and when you're in a sim versus when you're doing the track walk, what are you looking for when you're going through, and how will you prepare for that once you get on the track in a car?
I mean, the trouble spots, you start at 1 and count to 16. Every corner looks like someone's had an issue. Every single section is its own problem, and yeah, I think I've seen someone make an error or do something wrong at each one. So yeah, every corner looks difficult, and I don't think there's a possibility to do a perfect lap here. Qualifying tomorrow, I mean, qualifying tomorrow is amazing. Like the first lap of the track, the first 3 corners we're not going to have done before. We're not going to have seen them that day, and the lap starts for them. I find that always fascinating and difficult in NASCAR, and I think tomorrow's qualifying is going to be crazy. And you see it now with the red flags and people trying to get clear laps, so it's going to be really hard to execute.
Go next to Bob, then to Noah, then to Dalton.
Bob Parkhurst, Fox Sports. NASCAR did work on the crane rails, it looked like, overnight, but is there anything else from what you've seen in truck practice or the track walk that you'd like them to do before either your practice or by tomorrow or Sunday?
I think there was some discussion about the wall leading up to the pit lane, how it veers to the right, and then you got this pit lane kind of sticking out. So it won't be trouble in practice, but I can see that being an issue in the race. So hopefully they maybe pull that wall to the right, but the rest of it looks fine, and everyone will have the same challenges.
Noah Reed, Kenny Wallace Media. I talked to Scott McLaughlin a little earlier this week, and he said that you'd invite him over to race something remote controlled. I was going to ask you a little bit more about that and your friendship with him. Yeah,
it's been awesome the last few years moving here and being friends with him again, and it's been cool to see him improving a lot this year. We just built a little dirt oval at home and race RC sprint cars every couple of weeks. So, but he was that Dora the Explorer or some kids thing. So, our interests are a little different sometimes.
He said he was going to be tuning in and watching you this week, and he said you're the favorite in his eyes. And that got me thinking a little more about, just the eyeballs that are on you. You've got a lot of fans and friends, I would assume, tuning in from a variety of time zones. Just what do you want to say to all your supporters who are going to make the effort to watch you this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, and the West Coast races are a bit better on the time zone as well, and I've got a lot of Kiwi friends come for this week, 2 West Coast races, and it's a bit easier to get to, so it's really cool to have some support and have some friends here, and it's always amazing how many people tune in on a Monday morning there.
Go next to Dalton, then to Jonathan.
Hey, Shane, to your right. Along those lines, actually, I saw that you met some of the World Cup players. Are you following that closely, following the New Zealand team closely?
Yeah, I hadn't watched soccer in a while, and then I was screaming at the TV the other night, so that was awesome. And then hopefully our race is all wrapped up before Sunday night and I can watch it again. So I think Kiwis, we sort of bat above our weight for how big our country is, and when we're on the world stage, we all support each other, which is really cool. So hopefully I'm done to watch that.
And I know we're still on the other side of the world, but this is probably the closest we're going to get in the continental United States on the NASCAR side. Is there a little bit more of a pride factor with that, maybe?
I mean, it's still a 12-hour flight to home, so we're nowhere close. But I mean, it's cool that it's accessible or easier for people to get to. But I still feel like I'm on the other side of the world.
We'll go next to Jonathan, then to Dustin.
Jonathan Field, NASCAR Roundtable. Kind of building off of that, you got to have some time with some of the sailors here, the service members. What was that like? I mean, especially being someone from New Zealand, kind of coming into a U.S. base like that.
Yeah, it's a bit odd for me, but it's cool to see. And as I said the other day, it's amazing what they've done to build this place in a week. And I mean, driving over the bridge this morning was pretty cool. Looking around and seeing where we're going to go racing. It's a pretty special event that NASCAR's put on for us and the Navy. So, proud to be part of the first one.
Dustin Long, USA Sports. Shane, I know it may depend on what happens in practice and qualifying, but what might tonight be like for you afterwards in terms of taking a look at what happened in practice, what to you and everybody else preparing for qualifying? Is it going to be any different than any other night before a race per se?
Yeah, it'll be like Mexico, where it was an open practice, so we can finish today and we can make changes to our setup and see if there's anyone faster, what they're running, and maybe adapt to that. Tonight will just be a full study night, really, and trying to prepare for that one flyer tomorrow. And, it'll be just trying to dissect what we learned today.
And what does full study mean for those of us who don't do what you do?
I guess it'll be like SMT, and if there's any onboards on the broadcast, probably rewatch the broadcast, and then, try and listen to what other guys say about their race too.
Do we have any additional questions for Shane? Go back to Noah.
I know Justin hasn't had the most smooth day so far, but have you had a conversation, because it's been a while since he's been in the car, has there been any discussion between you and him about just getting back behind the wheel?
Yeah, it's cool to see that fire in his eyes, and then speaking to him yesterday and today, you're talking to him as a race car driver, which is really cool. And I was standing on the wall at the last corner today watching before the garage opened, and then I went down the pit lane and had a chat to him after his first practice. So, yeah, race driver Justin is completely different, and it's cool to see him doing it and seems really enthused. So hopefully, they got a good backup and he can have a good race, and it'd be fun to cheer him on tonight.
We'll go to your back right to Brian.
Over here to the right, Shane. Brian Twining, Bleacher Nation for Best Sports Media. Tomorrow you're going to be in the first group of qualifying, and so you mentioned the risk-reward level being extremely high here. How are you going to assess whether or not your lap is good, or how aggressive do you think you're going to be to lay down a lap time that will get you a good starting position?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's $1 million question. I guess we got Xfinity on before us, so they'll clean up the track a little bit, but yeah, being the first one out, and in these cars you don't have a reference lap or delta, so you have no idea how good your lap is while you're doing it. It's very difficult to judge what speed you've got. And then, how much better the track's going to be. How long do we want to wait in first group because the red flags might come out. So it's a huge risk and something we'll have to assess and talk about. But looking at the track and how narrow it is, it's going to be tough to pass in some spots. So, we want to be as close to the front as we can.
Well, Shane, thank you for joining us today, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, everyone.